What is happening, guys? Welcome back. So we're going to be doing another video on the little Polo project. It is now Friday, and so far this week I've filmed 0. The week didn't really, well, there was a lot going on. So what we're going to do in this episode, at the start of it, we'll go through. I had a few comments in the first episode asking if I was going to tell you all how much it's cost and everything like that, and you'll be happy to know we've got a whiteboard. You may have seen it in the first episode. We've put the whiteboard up. We're going to log everything that we buy for the car, and the way that we're going to do it is, so if I get sponsored an item or given an item or something like that, or discount on an item, we're going to put the full retail price on it. So this is going to be a true to cost. Can you do it for this money without getting stuff given to you? The only exclusion that I think we're going to do is if I've got stuff already in the workshop, or I already own things, then that won't come off the amount, if that makes sense. In my head it works. The other little thing that I've thought of is if we buy, for example, a complete car, another complete car, and we take a handful of items off that car, and we pay 500 quid for the car, we use a handful of items off it, we sell all of the parts that are remaining with that vehicle for 500, 600, 700 quid. That 500, 600, 700 quid then goes back on. So essentially, the £500 we outlaid, we've got either we're back to the £5 we started with, or we're making a little bit of money on top. I think that's a kind of fair way of doing it. I don't know if we're going to buy another car. I don't know if we're going to buy anything we can sell to make money on or not. But that was in my head, a way that we're around sort of getting a little bit more out of it. So let's head over to the whiteboard and we'll start making a list, and we'll write down what we spent already, which at the minute isn't really a lot. So I'm going to have to apologise for my childish handwriting. It really isn't the best, but Polo, Coupe, scrap to show car for 5k. Title of the video. Right, so the actual car itself, we'll call it the shell, was free. We didn't pay anything for that. That was totally free. It cost me a little bit in diesel, but we're not going to include diesel. We're not going to be including consumables and things like that. I don't think we're going to bother including consumables, unless you guys think that we really should do. We're not going to include them. We're just going to include parts that are going onto the car. Paint obviously isn't a consumable. That is going to be on the price of the vehicle. The first thing that we went out and bought were the body cuts, tailgate, glass and suspension. I assure you this is English handwriting, or it is English writing. I can read it. That cost us £150. What else have we bought? We have then also bought an engine, although I'm not sure whether we're actually going to use that or not yet. It was just cheap. It wasn't on the way. It was way out of the way, but it was cheap. I agreed to buy it, so I went and purchased that as well, and that was £150 too. So far, the total spend is £300, meaning we've got £700 left to play with. Now, obviously, we've got a lot of other things to be buying. We've got wheels, do something with the suspension. We've got the paint, the interior, the engine loom. There's still a hell of a lot to spend, but we'll be able to keep a tab on it here. You'll be able to see what we are spending, where the budget is going. Yeah, hopefully you like the rules of the little project that we're doing. But what we need to do now is carry on trying to sort out this body shell. So in the last episode, we made a start cutting out this rear quarter area, and we got all the chassis leg and everything removed, and we are, for the most part, back to some pretty good steel now. If I roll it over, we'll get a better look. We've still got a bit of tidying up, cutting and trimming to do. We've got the new outer part of the wheel arch offered into place, and I'm pretty happy with the way it's going to go. We need to modify all of this, and we need to modify this part as well. We're not going to be welding it here. This will be welded further up to give us a bit of better fitment. We've got to sort this seat area out, but happily, the rest of it is looking pretty solid. There's a bit of surface rust on places where we've been getting the undersealer off, which I think is really to be expected. We have got this side to do, which is going to be just as bad. But I think the thing that we need to do is just put the camera down or set the GoPro up get her head down and just try and get as much of this new metal in this corner and get this back as solid as we can, so we can then move on to the other side. I think as soon as the rear end's done, the front end is going to be nice and simple, because that isn't as bad as the rear end. So let's get on with that. Camera on, make a start. Right, I think a bit of progress has been made. I've treated myself to some Clecos, which obviously you see on the TV and whatever quite a lot. Never used them. Thought, let's treat ourselves, let's have a go. Basically get a pair of these like plier things. This here, that is spring loaded. Oh, can you show you that? That's spring loaded. Can't press it enough. And you've got 3 bits, 2 side pieces and a middle piece. The middle piece comes forward. You drill a 3mm hole, push it through the hole, and then, oh, where's my camera? All them little bits in there. Pull the panels together, and yeah, pull the panels together so you've not got clamps everywhere. So we've got one up there, we've got one down here, and there's one inside as well as I've just showed you them. So that means that that rear panel is now in the place that it needs to be. It is now all clean, all sorted. So what we want to do now is get that back out. I've cleaned all the areas that are going to be touching, all the areas that are going to be covered. So we'll chuck some weld-through primer on all of that lot now. Then that can go in, and we can start tacking parts back into that corner. I think the thing that's made us get on quite well is we've had Dexter, the big man, helping. He's not interested now, he's walked off. We've had the big man in, which has been nice. Him just wandering around, seeing what's going on, checking that we know what we're doing. So, progress has been made. Let's get all of that lot sorted out, and we'll start tacking it in.
For someone to save. I want to tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night, and I contemplate for a while. Don't you think for the people that testify back my stuff? Don't you think for the people that testify back my stuff? Like it's sooner than this. Don't you wish I would have been someone else? I want to feel your gap without making a mess of you. I want you to tell me something new. I want to tell you something new.
Good morning. So we're back out on the Polo this morning. Last night we managed to get the outer part of the inner arch all welded in. That is now back in solid. I'm really happy with how that's gone in. We've also, if you might be able to just spy it down there, oh, just down there, we've got the chassis leg for this side all welded back on. Again, nice and solid. I've managed to get some really good welds where they join onto at the front and onto the seats and everywhere. I'm happy with how they've gone. I'm really happy. They're nice and solid. I then bolted the beam on because I wanted to try and start looking at the arch and what work we needed to do to the arch to make the wheels that I've got in mind fit. And this is obviously one of the wheels that was the wheel that was too corroded and damaged, and we've got studs and things left in from when we did the Mark 1 Golf. It's a 16. I think I'm going to use a 15. and I'm by the specs and everything that we're going to be using, because we're going to use a 12mm thick 35mm axle riser basically, so the axle will come down a little bit further because it's touching the chassis leg at the moment, and that'll bring the wheel out 12mm. And then the specs of the wheels that I want to use, I think we're going to have to pull this arch out by about 10mm from the calculations that I've done and from working out. And then we're going to modify the inside of the arch so nothing will catch. Same on the other side, but I don't really want to go doing any of that until I've actually got the wheels physically in my hand with the tyres on that I want to use, so I'm not just guessing and doing things for the sake of it. We want to get it sitting absolutely spot on. So there isn't really, I don't think, a huge more amount we can do that side, because I don't want to go putting all that inner piece in until we've sorted the wheels out, because we're going to have to cut the inner arch and plate the inner arch and remake the inner arch and bring it out to the rear quarter. So I don't think we're going to bother doing any more on that side. I think we're going to leave that side for now, which means we need to start having a look at how bad this side is. But I think this side is going to be pretty much the same as the other side, possibly minus the chassis leg, because the chassis leg does look okay. So yeah, we need to get all of this lot off, all the bit axle and everything back off, and then start digging this side, and then we need to get the body cut out, start dissecting that, and start trying to get the parts off for that side that we need. Right, so we've made some more progress. We've got the outer quarter of this taken off. We've got the arch section there ready to go on, because the one is really damaged on that side. We've sort of gone through just to make sure that everything in that piece is okay, because on the car we've done a little bit of digging and removed a few pieces. So this piece here, which has got this extension piece that we've welded on, that sort of attaches that piece to this middle chassis piece. The piece on the body cut that we've got over there was cut somewhere down here, so I wasn't comfortable with putting the new complete chassis leg on. So I've removed that piece off of this car, which was surprisingly in really good condition. I've battered it a little bit getting it off, but we'll get it back together and get it welded back on nice and strong. This down here doesn't actually look too good, so I think we're going to have to replace this chassis leg either in its entirety or up to that join there. After that it seems pretty solid, but round here I'm just not happy. And then the internal piece, which is to do with this, as we've done on the other side, and then the outer piece, are not the best. So we need to get all of these bits removed off the car. But we have happily, or thankfully, got that chassis leg reinstated. We've got the outer part of the inner arch is on as well. You can probably see a pen line there where I started marking it for modifying, but yeah, we need the wheels before we can do that. This has been a bit of a sort of thrown together, if you like, episode. We've only had, it's Saturday afternoon, so I've had like 2 days, 1.5, 2 days on it. We've got a bit achieved. I feel like we've actually achieved a little bit. But hopefully my intentions for next week are to get both sides on the rear of this car back to being mostly finished. There'll probably still be a few little bits to do, and I want to try and get the arches modified as well, because I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, going to get the wheels next week, and we'll do a reveal on them hopefully in the next episode. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one, guys. We'll get there with it. We'll get there with it, and I want the welding done as quick as possible because we don't want it dragging on. But yeah, decisions have been made. and I'm very excited with the image I've got in my head, sharing all my ideas with you. Right, until next time guys, enjoy.